Hey, my friend. I've recorded about my whys, why I decided to do the marathon, and you can watch that in the previous videos. Let's divide this video. So you will watch first what I'm gonna do with my running training in an overview, then an overview about my strength training, and then we're gonna finish with the things that are important to mention in my case and probably yours. I'm doing this series because if you watch from episode 1, you're gonna be able to do the same I'm doing yourself and go from someone that never ran and be able to do a marathon in 1 year. That's important to remind you. I'm not doing this to win the marathon because it would be unrealistic, which means I'm not training to win the marathon. If it happens, not gonna happen. Starting with the running. I'm starting from a point that I can run 10K in something around, let me check how much was the time I did in my last event. So I ran the Noosa Marathon and I ran in, my time was 44 minutes and 36 seconds for 10K, which is a nice pace and which is a nice time. In that same event, I ran my 5K, which was the partial, in 21:45. So I'm already someone who runs, who trains, but I was training twice a week, running something around 5 to 10Ks, depending on sprinting days, depending on longer days, if I was running on Z2, which is more maintenance that I can go for longer, and that's it. That was what I was doing. Now, talking with my coach, which is Bruno, you're gonna see him here. So Bruno decided that instead of running twice a week, I needed to run 3 times a week. Why? Because we always work in a weekly volume. How much Ks I'm gonna do in that week. And we decided, I say we because he helped me in that decision making, that it was good and it was an ideal time to wait 1 year to do the marathon. Because it's enough time for me to increase the volume slowly, analyze how that improvement is going, because it's a lot of running and my life is still going. So I cannot stop working because I'm training for the marathon. I still don't have a sponsor. If you want to sponsor me, send me a DM or send me a message here. I'm more than happy to have a sponsor. It's gonna happen sometime soon. So I need to analyze how my body's gonna react with that, because I will increase out of sudden and that can be bad. Why that can be bad? Because our cardiovascular system has a power to adapt sooner. Because when we increase the volume, we need to think about the physiological differences we're gonna have in the body. So when I run more, I'm gonna work more with my blood pressure, with my heartbeat, with my cardiovascular system in general. And I'm gonna work with my joints, my tendons, my ligaments, my musculoskeletal system. Those two things have adaptations done in a different pace. You are gonna adapt with your cardiovascular system faster than what you do with your tendons, ligaments, and musculoskeletal system. When you increase based on how you feel you can run, you may be prioritizing your cardiovascular system because you feel that instead of 5Ks, you feel like running 10 because you feel that you're not out of breath. You could push. But if you're doing that too fast, your tendons, your muscles, and your ligaments are not going to adapt in the same pace, which means you can be overloading this system. And that's generally how the injuries appear. When we're talking about injuries, you cannot think about only one specific thing. It's normally a bunch of things, but you are increasing the risk for one thing, which is adaptation, when you increase the volume too much. That's the beginner's #1 mistake. I feel I can run more, I'm gonna run more. Let's say that I'm running nothing, and I came up with the volume of running 2Ks. The next week, probably those 2Ks will feel light and you feel able to run 2.5, 3. And that increases week by week until you have a stagnation, and depending on your fitness and depending on other things, you're not gonna be able to run more. When you increase too fast, you are pushing your system too much on your ligaments and joints that needs more time to adapt. This is why you feel sore after you go to the gym if you haven't been in the gym for a while, because your body needs stimuli, recovery time to create adaptation. The more prepared you are, higher stimuli you can give for maybe shorter time of recovery to have the adaptation. If you're younger, you may recover faster than if you have 50 or if you have 35 as me. But if you come from a condition that you have no injury, you may recover faster than someone from a condition like mine who has 2 knee surgeries, because those things will change how my body interacts with the volume. What is the plan for this marathon? It's gonna take me 1 year to do it. We're gonna have a weekly volume increasing in something around 10% maximum per week. So let me give you an example. This week, I'm gonna run in total Tuesday, 7K, Thursday, 7K and a half, which is 14 and a half. And on Sunday or Saturday, I'm gonna run another 10K. So 14 and a half plus 10, 24 and a half. Potentially, next week, I will increase maximum 2 kilometers in a total. Why I'm saying maximum? Because it really depends on how I'm dealing and what is the feedback I'm giving to my coach, Bruno. Sometimes he's gonna hold that for a while because he's doing more sprints, more intensity. We're slowly increase that volume, and until the end of the year, I'm gonna be able to run a half marathon, a good half marathon. I'm gonna run with a good pace, I'm gonna run with the rhythm, and I'm preparing to build half marathon until December, until the end of the year. From December to August to July, where it's gonna be my marathon, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna start to build more volume because I'm not someone who runs 10K like now and will develop until half marathon. I will be already someone who runs half marathon and I will build to the marathon. This year is divided in 2 big cycles, from 10 to half marathon until December, from half marathon to marathon around August or July. Good? The whole concept of building from 10K to 21 is that I will be running something around 2 times the volume of the event I want to participate. At this stage, I already run 10K. I started running 20K in the whole volume during my week. And since week 1, my coach has been increasing that number. Now I'm at 24 and a half. By the end of the year, I will be running during the week something around 40Ks a week, which is double of 21, 40, 42Ks. That's what I'm gonna be running in December. And by the time I get in January to build for the marathon, guess what? I should run something around 80K per week. But because 80K is a lot to keep my whole life working and having everything that I have to do, I may not have the time to do that. So in this case, I may run something around 1 or 1.5 times that total, which is gonna be something around 40 to 60Ks a week. Now I'm running 3 times a week. Maybe at some point next year, I will need to run 4 or 5. How are we gonna decide that? Depending on how well I'm recovering from my running trainings and from my strength training, and depending how much time I have available. Because running 40Ks during a week 4 times, it means that every run I do, I'm gonna run at least 10Ks. If I keep the 3 times like I'm doing now, oh boy, 60Ks in that week, it means that every single day I'm gonna need to run 20. It may be too much. It's something that is not for us to say right now because we need to see how my body's gonna adapt when the time comes. But we are working with the possibility of moving from 3 to 4, maybe from 4 to 5. Let's see what happens. During this whole 1-year process, we're gonna divide the volumes and the microcycles or the times or the blocks of training between increasing my speed, working with sprint sessions, intervals, which is normally what I do on Tuesdays. And with more speed means that I can finish the event, finish the running faster. If I finish faster, I suffer less because the suffering with the marathon, with the half marathon is guaranteed. I know that at some point I'm gonna struggle physically, mentally, but if I'm faster, I can struggle for less time. Sessions with rhythm, where probably I'm gonna be working on my pace, what is my cadence, how many steps I do per minute, how I train my skills and my ability with the running, with the specific educative exercise. Blocks where I'm gonna be resting more from a big volume, because you cannot keep increasing. Theoretically, we need to increase, stabilize, provide rest. That's how every training should be. And then blocks of evaluation. Next year, when I have the event in mind, when I know which marathon I'm gonna do, which I don't know yet. Still choosing between a city that I like very much, or a place, or the landscape. I still don't know. As soon as I know, we're gonna mark 20 weeks from the date of the race, and we're gonna count back, which is gonna be something around 5 months. Then we will start the bigger volume to run more kilometers per week to prepare for the marathon. So it's gonna be something around a 20 weeks preparation when I'm ready after I'm able to run a half marathon. And just to remind you, I'm not going to this marathon to win. If it happens, yeah, I said, it's probably not gonna happen. Probably not gonna happen. Definitely not gonna happen. I'm going to finish well and be well the next day because I want to build this skill and I want to show yourself. But first, I want to show myself that I can do whatever I want. I just need to respect the process. Does that make sense? Let's go for strength now. I used to train a block like the bodybuilders do because I like the physique and I have a healthy lifestyle. I've been in the wellness fitness industry for a long time and I like to go to the gym. It's my therapy time. It's the time that I stay with myself, with my own thoughts. I love my time training with myself. Therapeutical, like I said. I used to train 4 times a week weight training, 2 times a week running, 1 day resting. This volume changed. Now I run 3 times a week and I go to the gym 3 times a week and I rest 1. My workout used to be divided in A, B, C, D. Now I'm doing 3 times full body. As heavy as I lift, I need more time to recover. So my workouts now don't pass 45 minutes and I'm using my training to work with the muscles that I need to develop movement and to develop motor skills that I need to develop. Because I did 2 knee surgeries in the same knee, I have a pretty interesting imbalance between the sides. Nowadays, not anymore because I've been doing physio and recovering for a long time. But now, I'm going to a challenge that my body doesn't know. So we don't know what's gonna be the response of my body. Because of that, my organization of training is different now. So every workout starts with the components of unilateral exercise with focus on glutes and core. We may have a different concept of core. The technical concept of core, it's all the muscles that stabilize your body, that come from above your knee to below your neck. Yes, thighs, glutes, abs, muscles on your back, muscles on your lower back. So I'm working with this stability exercise. Another reason why I'm working unilaterally, apart from the fact that working unilaterally will decrease the gap of strength, balance, coordination I have on both sides, it will also strengthen some important stability muscles on my ankles. Because when I'm on one leg only, my foot will always be working. I'm working on my foot strength, that is important for someone that is gonna run 42 Ks. I'm working on the stability of my ankle, which is very important. I'm working on my glutes and the whole balance. Because if you think about running, I'm always on one foot at a time. I'm never touching both feet at the same time on the ground. If I'm not good in unilateral exercise, at some point I'm gonna fail, and at some points that can lead to bad things. Second exercise, it's always a heavy lift for legs, where I'm working strength. I want to keep increasing my weight. That's for everything. I work with the strength on the unilateral as well. It's always about control, increasing the weights, maintaining control. If I increase the weight and I lose my form or lose my control very much, it's not for me. I'm getting back to control and I'm increasing the weight. So that is the signal that my body is ready to increase because I can keep the same control but with a heavier weight. After I did these 2 exercises, very concentrated, I go to an upper body exercise because it's important to have strength on your upper body. Remember, in between my strength sessions, I'm doing running sessions. So my legs have been working as well. I need to take care to have a volume of training of strength that I'm not going to be training over fatigue that will never stop until a point I get overtrained. So I need to every session organize how much is the volume that I can put and how I can recover from that. How I do that? If I'm lifting more and I'm still running well, I know that the volume's probably fine. This past week, for example, I lifted more in one day. It was super hard to run in the next day and do the sprints. What happens was, it was tough to run. The next day after this run, I needed to decrease the volume of strength a little. So I did less rounds. I stabilized my weight and I didn't try to increase. I focused on the control. And that's the same thing. And that every week. My time to adapt my training, it's always on my strength sessions. It's always when I'm lifting weights because my main focus is the running now. So I follow the running workouts and I try to give the best when I'm at then. And I give my best on the strength training, adapting if I feel that I need to keep the performance on the running. Does it make sense? So again, unilateral exercise for glutes, bilateral 2 feet on the floor exercise for strength, where the goal is to control, increase the weights. Then I go for an upper body exercise, and then I do a bicep where I work either bicep and shoulder or tricep and shoulder. So on Monday, my full body A is this. I do unilateral RDL, and as you can see, I focus on the control and I focus on increasing the weights as I keep my feet on the ground, paying attention to feeling my feet as well. After that, I go for leg press 45, and again, the focus is increasing the weight with control. Then I go for a back exercise and then a bicep with bicep and shoulder. In every single exercise I do, you can see that I'm going for control, full range of motion, and increasing the weights. I'm staying in the range of 8 to 12 reps. Sometimes going more to the 6 if I'm lifting super heavy. Sometimes it's stopping around the 12, but I'm never doing more than 12. And if I do more than 12, that's a signal that my strength went up. It's time to increase a little more to stay in this range. Second weight training of the week, full body B. I'm working with unilateral hip thrust, and I want to build this movement until I'm able to completely take my foot out of the ground and stay only with one foot supported. At this time, I need to have this half support, but still focus very much on one leg only. Second exercise is this hammer hack squat, because I've tried to do back squats, but I felt that the back squats don't do really well with my knee when I'm increasing the weight. And every time I keep in the machine, I can control my pace, and the machine itself, it's very similar with the movement of the squat. This machine in particular. I have done tests with pendulum squats as well. Don't do me any good. So this is the machine I prefer. Then I go for a chest exercise, and then I do a tricep and shoulder exercise. All these workouts are something around 45 minutes maximum. Then my full body C is my heaviest. I start with a GHD, focusing on glute work. So you see that I'm doing this rounding on my back. Even though I'm still working with my erector spine, it's more focused on the glutes and hamstring. Then I go for my heaviest lift, which is the hex bar. My knees go fine here, and I can control and have a lot of weight because it's a shorter range of motion. I compensate this short range of motion with more weight because again, I'm running 3 times a week and I'm working on my legs for strength. I cannot overdo it because of my joints. So I need to find what is the perfect volume, and at this stage, the perfect volume for me is this. Then I do a bicep with back and biceps, and then I do another bicep with chest and shoulder. Why I don't work tricep in this? Because the exercise I chose to do the chest, I do with the grip slightly closer, which will work my tricep very much. And because I've been working on my triceps for a long time, I don't need to have the same volume. It's not a focus of mine now. It may change in the future. So as you can see, my whole workout also favor something that I want to do. I like to work out. I like to work on my upper body. So I need to do something that I enjoy as well. This is why you have all this upper body to fill my program, but I cannot go over the top because my system is still recovering. So it's a good way for me to train what I want and also recovering my legs a little. And this volume, it's working really well for me. In the future, probably I will need to take one of these 3 days a week of weight training down if I start to run 4. Or maybe I make one of these exercises out of 3 shorter and I can fit 2 workouts a day. One day I run, one day I do this. But again, it's something that is a possibility in the future, but it's the future. You got it. So my whole plan for the year is this. My focus is always on increasing the volume and perfecting my technique while I'm running, while I'm giving the time to recover from my joints, while I'm strengthening it. Now, the third part of the video, in terms of nutrition, I was doing a bulking phase before, like I used to do every year, which is I was increasing my calories, putting on weight in a slower process to put more muscle than fat. And towards the end of the year, or 2 different times of the year, I started to do a cutting to lose the extra fat I have gained and maintain as much muscle mass as I could. This process over the years made me go from this to this. By the way, I don't use any steroids or hormones. But now, my nutrition will be to support my running as at my focus. I will still hit my protein marks, which is gonna be around 2 grams for body weight. I'm currently 76. But I know that with the whole volume of running, naturally I believe my weight will drop a little. Not worried about that, but I can still train the things I want. You can classify me as a hybrid athlete at this stage, because I will be lifting weights, trying to lift the heaviest I can to supplement my running at this stage. Subscribe here as well to receive the notifications when the new video comes up. Comment below if you have any question. Comment below if you want to know more about something. Stay tuned, because in the next video you will start to see the behind the scenes of the running. How is it when I go out for a run, what I do, how I prepare, and this kind of stuff. I will see you next time, eh? It's not a threat unless you work better with threats, so then it's a threat.